If you saw 1,600 heavily armed soldiers emerging from the tree line, circling your position, most people would be looking for the nearest white flag. It's the logical thing to do. But in 1814, on a jagged hilltop in Nepal called Nalapani, there were 600 people, men, women, and children who looked at those odds and decided that logical wasn't in their vocabulary. The British Empire was at its peak. They were the world's superpower, and they expected this little mountain fort to crumble in hours. Instead, they spent a month dying. They were hit by bullets, arrows, and I'm not kidding, stones thrown by children. When the British finally breached the walls, they didn't find a group of people begging for mercy. They found 68 survivors who fought until their literal last breath. The British were so stunned by what they just witnessed that they did something they almost never did. Instead of executing the survivors, they started recruiting them. They realized that if you can't beat a Gurkha, the only other option is to have them on your side. To understand the Gurkhas, you have to understand where they come from. These aren't giant men, most stand around 5'3". But they were raised as shepherds and farmers on the brutal, oxygen-thin slopes of the Himalayas. By the time a Gurkha is 18, his normal is a level of physical hardship that would break an Olympic athlete. Their motto is simple: better to die than be a coward. And then there's the knife. The kukri. It's a heavy, forward-curving blade that looks like a scythe from a nightmare. There is a legend, and many Gurkhas take this very seriously, that once a kukri is drawn from its scabbard in battle, it must taste blood before it can be sheathed again. If a Gurkha drew it just to show a friend, he'd supposedly nick his own thumb just to satisfy the steel. Whether that's 100% true or not doesn't matter, because the enemy believed it was true. And in the heat of a jungle charge, when you hear the battle cry Hai Mahakali, Eo Gorkali, the Gurkhas are upon you, the legend is the last thing you want to think about. Let's fast forward to September 1915. World War I. France. The Battle of Loos. The trenches are a meat grinder. Gas, mud, and machine guns. A young Gurkha named Kulbir Thapa finds himself behind German lines after a failed assault. He's wounded, he's alone, and the mist is the only thing keeping him alive. Most men would crawl back to their own lines and pray. But Kulbir spots a wounded British soldier from the Leicestershire Regiment trapped in a crater. The soldier tells Kulbir to leave him, save yourself. Man, Kulbir refuses. He stays with the man all day and all night under heavy fire. When morning breaks, he carries the man through the mud to safety. Then he goes back. He goes back into the German teeth and rescues two more Gurkhas. But he still wasn't done. He went back a third time for the original British soldier in broad daylight. German machine gunners literally watched him zigzagging across no man's land. They had him in their sights. They could have ended him in a second. But as they watched this tiny man repeatedly risk certain death for his comrades, something miraculous happened. The Germans, their enemy, stood up in their trenches and started clapping. They were so moved by his courage that they stopped shooting just to give him a standing ovation. Kulbir Thapa became the first Nepalese soldier to receive the Victoria Cross. Now, let's go to Burma, 1945. World War II. Rifleman Bhanbhagta Gurung and his unit are pinned down by a Japanese sniper in a tree. The bullets are shaving the bark off the logs they're hiding behind. While everyone else is hugging the dirt, Bhanbhagta just stands up. He stands up like he's bored, shoulders his rifle, and drops the sniper with one shot. Then, he decides the rest of the Japanese position is taking too long to clear. He sprints forward alone. He hits the first foxhole to grenades, gone. He hits the second foxhole bayonet, gone. He clears the third and fourth through a hailstorm of bullets. Finally, he reaches a machine gun bunker. He's out of regular grenades, so he pulls out a smoke grenade, crawls into the bunker, and uses his kukri. When he emerged, the bunker was silent and the position was won. He didn't wait for orders, he just decided the battle was over. But if you want to talk about the absolute peak of Gurkha defiance, you have to talk about Lachhiman Gurung. It's May 12, 1945. Lachhiman is in a small trench in Burma with 2 other soldiers. Suddenly, 200 Japanese soldiers emerge from the jungle. They start hurling grenades into his trench. Lachhiman catches the first grenade and throws it back. He catches the second grenade and throws it back. He reaches for the third, and it explodes in his hand. His right hand is shattered. His fingers are gone. His arm is a mess of bone and shrapnel. His 2 comrades are unconscious and bleeding out. Lachhiman is alone, blinded in one eye, with only one working arm. He looks at the 200 soldiers rushing his position. He doesn't run. He pulls out his kukri with his left hand, jams it into the soil in front of his trench, and screams, "Come and fight a Gurkha." For the next 4 hours, Lachhiman Gurung operated his bolt-action Lee-Enfield rifle using only his left hand and his teeth to work the bolt. He fired, reloaded, and fired again. Every time a Japanese soldier tried to cross that line, Lachhiman dropped them. When his relief arrived the next morning, they found 31 dead Japanese soldiers piled in front of his trench. Lachhiman was still there, leaning against the wall, rifle in his left hand, waiting for number 32. He survived. He lived to be 92 years old. More than 250,000 Gurkhas fought in World War II. Over 43,000 of them never made it home. They aren't legends because they are invincible. They are legends because they choose to be brave when anyone else would be terrified. They are the bravest of the brave. So, the next time you think you're facing overwhelming odds, remember the man who used his teeth to reload a rifle because he refused to let 200 men pass his trench. Remember the Gurkha way. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the strange, dark, and mysterious world of military history, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel.